Hey all, welcome back to my Autism My Voice. For this episode, I wanted to talk about insurance and autism. Now, I know many parents are going through many difficulties in regards to getting insurance to cover the bills, to pay for different therapies for their son or daughter who may have autism. Now, I think one big thing in our community right now, which we're doing a lot, is we're getting a lot of reform bills done in the US. We already have 29 reform bills in 29 of the 50 states in the United States. So we are making progress. However, I think a big thing we really need to focus on is making sure people understand why these are important, first off, because that's the biggest thing, but also just making sure people understand that, look, autism is a very wide spectrum. Every diagnosis we're seeing is getting a little bit different than the next, and it just feels like we need to really analyze. And the problem with the whole analyzing thing is that because it's now 1 in 110 are diagnosed with autism, that means that there's over a million Americans in the US right now who have autism and might need certain therapies to help them progress and not regress. And I think we as a society need to understand that this is a very important issue. I know that the government is putting a lot of money into it so far, but we need to make sure this trend continues because as we learn more about autism, as we see more of the signs about autism, and as we continue through our process, we have to understand that insurance is crucial. I was in a middle class family growing up, and yes, we could provide some of the services for me out of pocket, but I know that many families today, especially in this economy, are struggling with that. And not alone, just having to worry about putting your son or daughter in a good school. Maybe you have to put them in an out of district school and then they have to pay for it. It's just all these things add up. And I think the government needs to focus and make sure that every single parent who needs this insurance to make sure their kid can progress gets it. Because we don't want this situation to happen where people are left in the dust, because that happens way too often. And I know it's easy to say this, but how do we put it in action? We put it in action by people watching this video, sharing this video, and hopefully just making sure people understand the importance of this. Getting it, calling your senators, calling the government, calling people, going to websites such as autismvotes.org and finding out what representatives are in your state who you can talk to about autism, and making sure you understand the facts before going into all this, and then trying to analyze what we actually need to get done to make sure we can get the best services for our kids possible. And that's basically it, because I know my parents did for me, and I know there are parents watching this right now who are trying their best to do it for their son and daughter. So let's make this a priority. Let's make this our initiative, and let's go, because there's no better time than the present right now, and let's get it done. So thanks, guys.